If you want to dominate every fight in ranked, then you've come to the right place. I recently became one of the top ranked players in NA, and today I'm going to be showing all of you 8 different ways to win every fight in ranked. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost at 40k subs. Use code Farley, check out my other socials, but enough of me yapping. Let's get into the first fight. First off, if you want to become a god at fighting and dominate every fight, you need to learn how to piece control in ranked. Now there's a few ways to do so, but the best and most consistent way to piece control is by reading your opponent's body language, because you're going to be able to watch your opponent's movements and then counter them with your own. So let's use this fight as an example. I see this player in front of me as I'm going for a gold llama, and I'm going to drive a little past him to make sure he can't hit me, and then I'm going to block him off with walls and a cone. And now this player is going to elevate with me, and I notice he's moving out right, so I'm going to pre-piece that area with a double edit, and I'm going to drop down. Now when I drop down, this is the most important part of the fight. Now if we're looking at where he is right now, he's in all my old brick builds, and his only option is to go out into this direction. So I'm not going to fight the player where he is, I'm going to fight the player where he's going to be, and that's this box right here. So I'm going to sprint, jump up, elevate, and then double edit that area so that if he walks in there, as you can see, when we pause the fight, he's still holding out his map. I beat him to that area, and then I'm able to pump him, but I only hit him for about 50 damage. And after I get that shot, I then see the other player looking back at me, so I don't want to take a dumb 50-50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a ramp in his face. Doing this now forces the player to go into this box because he can't go back here because this is all mine. He's forced to go into this area. Then all I have to do is the exact same thing, full box the player, and then pump and mammoth him, and then pick up a simple elimination. After I get that kill though, I always make sure to create space, because you never know when other people are next to you, like these people. I didn't know these people were here, but since I create that extra space, if I get third partied, like which I did, I have time to react and I'm able to run away. Moving on now, I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I see players make when fighting, and that is not placing a cone or anything in your box. A lot of players will box up and they won't place a cone in their box, and they're very vulnerable. For example, let's take this player that I fight right here. For example, I see this player, push up to him, I hit him for 50, and I'm going to start to push up to him. Now when I approach this player's box, I realize there's no cone on his roof, so I'm going to replace it with my own, and then I'm going to place cones to the right just to block off this area if he walks in here. And when I edit right here, I notice there's no cone in his box, so I'm going to make a wide edit. Now this wouldn't be a good edit right now if this guy did have a cone in his box, because he could just shoot me in my face. But since he doesn't, all I have to do is double swing and hold out a ramp. This now forces him to leave this box, and most likely players always edit out left, so that's why I set up this pre-piece so that if he walks there, I can then pump him and then crack him. Now after I crack the player, he's then going to drop, and then he's going to create a ton of boxes, and then eventually he's going to run away and create another box. But again, the player makes the same mistake of not placing a cone in his box, and I can see through the brick floor there's no cone in his box right now. So I'm going to double swing, hold out my ramp while I'm falling to throw a ramp in his face. He's then going to pull out his map because he's like, oh shoot, someone's in my box, I got to build, but it's too late. And I'm able to flip the ramp, mammoth him, and then pick up a simple elim. And after I pick up that kill, this box isn't mine, so I create an extra one because I know on the map there's definitely other people around me. Now every fight in ranked will be different, but no matter what, every fight starts with opening damage, and the opening damage in a fight usually determines if you're going to win or lose a fight. So really quickly, let's show all of you how to get opening damage properly so you can end fights quickly. An example of how to do this properly would be right here. I see these two people fighting in front of me after I've tagged them up, and I'm going to start to push over. Now at this point right here from where I'm standing, I can't see any of the players right now, and I don't have a clear angle of shooting anybody. So instead of looking right here and trying to get some lucky shot and then trying to close the distance, I'm going to work my way around the fight. Notice how I'm not fighting them at all yet. I'm going to work my way all the way around the fight until I find the right angle. And when I notice this player dropping onto this wall, that's my cue to actually start pushing. And you'll notice I jump from a distance to where there will be no visual sound effects when I land on the player's back. This means he's super surprised and I'm able to shoot him in the back. And after I damage him, he's now pinched in between me and the other player. And now really his only option is to run out in this direction. So instead of fighting him right here, I'm going to drop a layer. This will allow me to fall right into the other player's box. Notice how I place a cone and a wall to make sure he can't build anything. This allows me to pump him and then pump him a second time and pick up an elim. After I pick up that elim, notice how I don't even go for any of the loot. There's a mythic pump here, but I don't go for it. I instantly expand and I start to pop my meds. This is because the other player is going to start to fight me now, and he's going to start to shoot his sticky launcher. But since I give myself that space, I now have time to relax, and then I can continue the fight. Now, one of the biggest reasons that a lot of players in rank die is because they take dumb 50-50s and they overexpose themselves and they get pumped in their face and they die. Now, there's a few ways to avoid this. One of them is with wall reset. So let's take this fight for example. This player is hiding in the vault. I don't know where he is. So I'm going to shoot a sticky launcher to find out where he is. When I see that it hits him, I know he's hugging the right side of the wall. So I'm going to start to shoot my sticky launcher, and then I'm just going to try and pre-fire him with my pump. Now when this player starts to spray my wall and try and jump in my face, I know he's probably low on mats, and I don't want to take a dumb 50-50. And right after he boxes up again, he pulls out his bat and he tries to jump in again. So I back up and I pump the player. After I pump the player, I pump him a second time and I crack him. I get the piece in between me and him. But I'm not just going to wide edit right here because he could just one pump me and I'll die. So all I'm going to do is hit a simple wide edit to bait the player so he can see me. And then I'm just going to reset it in his face. This will make him shoot the wall. Now he has shotgun delay, and then I can pre-fire the wall right after he shoots it, and I can pick up a simple kill. And you'll notice I didn't take any damage in that fight just because I was super smart. So make sure you're doing things like this so you don't take damage. Another way that you can do this is by making protected edits where only you can do damage and the other player can't do anything. This fight is a great example. Right now, I'm on 85 HP and this other player behind the tree doesn't have a lot of mats. So I'm going to spray the tree to then force him to now push me. You'll see he's on low mats. Now he's about to run out. And now he's forced to run towards me. So I pull out my pistol and I start to spray him. But I notice that, again, this player doesn't have any mats. So he's literally just trying to jump in my face and pump me. But I don't want to take any damage because I'm one pump away from dying. Now, if we pause the fight right now, I'm sitting in my box and I could make an edit on any of these walls, right? But any edit I make, this player could just look at me and 50 me and I'll die. So instead, I'm going to look for a different angle. I'm going to edit my floor and then edit the 3 tiles on the floor below. And from the other player's POV from this edit, you can see he literally can't see me, and that means there's no chance of me taking damage while I shoot the other player, and I'm able to pump him and pick up a kill and get my siphon so I can get my health back up. Moving on now, I want to talk about a great way that you can always piece control your opponent, and that is don't fight the player where he is, fight the player where he's going to be. Now I know that sounds weird, but let me explain in this fight. I see this player below me, I'm going to jump in the air, get a really nice headshot with my mammoth pistol, and then this player is going to box up in wood. When he boxes up in wood, I'm going to block off the right side so that he can't go in that direction. And then I notice he's turning his body to my right and his left. That means he's probably going to edit out in that direction. So I'm not going to fight the player where he is. I'm going to fight the player where he's going to be. And I'm going to double edit into that area so that when he walks in, I have it full boxed, and you'll notice he pulls out his map and he can't build. And then I'm able to pick up a simple kill. And after I get that kill, I always make sure to make an extra box of space, just in case I were to get third partied. Moving on now, let's talk about another issue a lot of players deal with, and that is third parties. So really quickly, let's show all of you how to completely avoid getting third partied. An example of doing this would be right here. I see this player crouching up behind another player, and I'm going to notice that he's running away. So I shoot this guy in the back with the mammoth for a bunch of damage, and I laser him. When I beam him, I look back at the other player because I'm thinking, oh, he's going to turn around. But when he doesn't, now I start to push the player because I know he's not as much of a threat. But then as soon as I get to this bush, I'm going to take another break and just hold out my bat and pause. And while I'm sitting in that bush up there, you can see me right there, this other player is still at the shrine. And if I were to fight this right now, he could turn around, run over, and then clean us up. So I'm going to wait a few seconds until he leaves. And since I wait those extra few seconds, the other player that could have third partied now left. So all I have to do is worry about the fight in front of me. And when I see him edit and overexpose himself and he doesn't see me in the bush, I'm able to mammoth him in the face, chase him down into his wood box, and then I'm just able to shoot through and pick up a simple kill. And you'll notice that I didn't get third partied just because I waited a few extra seconds and I took into account the other player. Now I think we can all say that this season the biggest problem when fighting is fighting against Mythics, because it seems that every single time you run into someone in mid to end game, they have a minigun, they have a drum gun, or they just have some insane loot. Now fighting against a minigun or a drum gun up close is basically just impossible because you're just going to get lasered. So quickly, let's show all of you how to properly fight against a minigun. So let's take this fight for example. I'm fighting this player on low ground, right? And it's a normal fight, right? But after I kill this player, this guy on height was spraying me with the minigun. And you'll notice that he is in the perfect position right now for the next zone. And when this other player sneaks up behind me and starts to push me, I know it's not worth it to stay here anymore. And when we're both getting sprayed by the minigun, I realize that it's time to go. I pull out my bat and I sprint and I run behind the hill to make sure I can't get shot at. After I run away, I realize there's this player on the hill and I realize he's not that good. So I'm just going to go push him and get myself a quick refresh. Now, when I get this refresh, I'm then going to run around the right side of zone and I see this ramp and this floor up here. So I thought he was up here, but he was actually here. But either way, I don't want to enter where I came from, so I don't want to go back into this area where zone is pulling. I'm going to run all the way around up this hill because this is going to give me the best chance of getting the jump on this player so that I can win the fight. And since I took this route into zone, I catch this player off guard and I jump in his face. I'm able to double edit on him, get a little bit of damage, and then he pulls out his minigun and he starts to spray me. But at that point, it's already over and I can pump him a second time and then mammoth him and then pick up a quick kill without taking any damage against the minigun. And then I was able to simply go on and win this game. So make sure when you're playing against Mythics, you keep your distance and you take your time. Now that is going to wrap up this video, so if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost at 40k subs, and if you want to see how to become the best fighter possible, go check this video out. But with that, I'm out. Peace.